if I can get an interview. Could I hop in and have a chat to you?
He spent 20,000 of the money on Reptiles.
Okay, it is 10:40 on Saturday 17th of February. Headed down to Dover to check out the farm protests that are there. Load of farmers last weekend drove their tractors in a really slow protest to block up a load of roads down there. And it seems to potentially be the start of some protests like we've been seeing over in Europe.
Protests that began in France and then Germany.
Now, farming unions say they're kicking into higher gear. Tires set aflame.
EU agricultural ministers were due to meet Monday.
The government has already threatened to fine supply companies practicing unfair competition.
From what I've seen on Facebook, I think it seems like the British farmers plan to be a little bit more restrained in what they're doing. But want to head along, talk to some protesters, see if we can talk to any farmers and find out how they're feeling about the situation. Go speak to some farmers. I really want to be able to get into a tractor or like some kind of farm vehicle with one of these farmers and like have a chat to a few of them whilst they're driving around. I'm trying to work out where they've been coming from. The guy who spoke on the radio was coming from Gibson's farm shop. So I'm trying to get myself to the road where I feel like he'd be coming from, if that's where he started off. Gotta get myself a sign made up. Don't suppose you've seen any of the farmers about, have you?
I speak English.
Oh, okay. Tractors? Big ones? Have a good day. Oh, I hear some horns in the distance. Oh, there we go. Got the tractors right there. Sick. Let's see if they're coming this way. Ah. Oh, yes, there we go. Ah. Yes. You got a spot in there? Can we come chat? Yes. Hello. You got a spot? Oh, it'd be lovely to get inside that. Can I ride with? See if I can get an interview. Hey mate, would you be willing to do an interview? No? No worries. Hi mate. Would you be willing to do an interview? Could I hop in and have a chat to you?
Might not want my coal, but...
Nice, no worries. Oh, let me just close this. What's your name?
I'm Steve.
Steve, nice to meet you. Ross.
What I'm hoping is that this will get good publicity and then more farmers will join in. I think it's a difficult thing at the moment because wages are low, people are hard up, but at the same time the supermarkets are running the government. The government have got no strength at all, and I'm sure that's why Minette Batters is retiring from the NFU, because not listening. They've got this green agenda.
Is that with the sustainable farming initiative being like phased in and was it the direct payments going out?
Yeah, but yes, and the payments are going down, aren't they? But I'm not really up to that, but there's a lot of people say that the actual conditions are not written down in black and white yet. So
Right.
farmers are at a loss to know which way to go. But the main thing is food security. That means that we shouldn't need to be looking to import the cheapest food possible in the world, because it won't last forever. The supermarkets have got to pay the proper price. In Europe, they're not allowed to sell food under the cost of production, which they're doing here. Mostly, there's very few smaller farmers dealing direct with supermarkets, 4 or 5 big wholesalers, and they are at the behest of the supermarkets. The food wastage last year with apples was caused by the supermarkets going and buying cheap apples from Poland. So the cold stores got full up with those, and there was nowhere to store the apples. I worked for a farm that left £40,000 worth of apples on the trees.
Wow.
Because there was nowhere to put them.
So you guys are selling to the wholesalers, and then the wholesalers are selling to the supermarkets.
Yeah.
So
people, it's very difficult. People want cheap food. You see the horror pictures of broiler chickens, I don't know how many, 1 to every square foot or whatever, and they're saying, oh, we don't like that, we don't like this, that's cruel, animal welfare and all that. But one step over the threshold of a supermarket and they want free chickens for 10 quid. You can't do it, you know, but at the same time you appreciate that people are hard up. So what it does away with the independent people, companies that used to supply the pubs and the restaurants. They are no longer there. They're going broke. They're shutting down because they can't make any money. And the reason is because Tesco's own Bookers, and Bookers are knocking it out dead cheap. And what that does is exactly what it did to the small bakers, etc. The supermarkets did the bakers in by supplying bread cheap.
yeah,
And that was the end of them.
just undercutting them.
Undercut them, and then we've got it all here. So they went out of business.
Yeah.
And the reason people are hard up is because we let our manufacturing go. We didn't. The government thought that the square mile, the city, would make us all a living, which was absolute trash. You've got, after the miners' strike, all those people who didn't go to work,
Yeah.
laid off. You've got 4 generations in Wales, in the valleys, haven't got a job.
Yeah.
One fella, and I can't understand why he was out of work. He'd been out of work 5 years. He was an electrician. Now, I don't know any electricians who are out of work,
Yeah.
right? But he'd been on the chat for 5 years,
Yeah.
and he'd spent 20,000 of the money on Reptiles,
Okay.
right? And what he dreamed up was doing like reptiles to schools, so that kids
Okay.
could hold them and all that.
Yeah.
And it was right up north. But actually, he was surviving off the dole.
Right.
But there's several of them.
But did that work out for him, the Reptiles? Was it like a smart investment?
Yeah, well, I think it was quite clever. I mean,
Do you think he made the 20 grand back in reptile rent?
I think he will survive off the dole.
Right. Okay. So his business, his reptile business, probably not making his like bread and butter.
No, I think he'll make a go of it, and he will stay off the dole.
Okay. Right. Like before last week's demonstration, like has it been in the works for months, or is it just a spur of the moment thing?
It's a spur of the moment thing, and that's why they didn't have too many people on the spur of the moment. They said, "Oh, we're going to do a protest." And that was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, and then yeah, they did it.
Nice.
the next day.
Jeff, who organised this first one, do you think like France and the protest there was kind of a little bit of a like
Well,
spark to get it going over here?
we can't do what they do. We can't have this run without telling the police what we're doing. And they brought the Tesco's and they told them we're coming. So the element of surprise has gone, hasn't it? You know. And whereas if they didn't have to tell them, we wouldn't have let anyone go in Tesco's this morning. We'd have let them come out once they'd done their shopping, but we wouldn't let anyone else go in.
Yeah.
But we're restricted. You can't do it. I know the youngsters, they wanted to set straw light and all that. If we do that, we're done.
Right.
And of course, the average farmer, he's not going to get involved in that.
Right, yeah.
Milk price now, so low here.
Yeah.
Right, now my daughter got married at the beginning of November to a dairy farmer.
Yeah.
She's a land agent up in Norfolk. And his father said, we're not milking cows anymore. Arla put so many stipulations on. Some of them, they reckon,
And what's how
8p a litre down
8p a litre?
on the cost.
What happens to when a dairy farm goes down like that? What happens to like the land, the workers,
Well,
the machinery? Like
they'll go into something else. They'll have livestock or they'll grow crops. My daughter's husband, they're growing bio maize for the biodigesters. But it takes a risk out. They might stop me. Your car down there, is it?
my car's back in town, but it's all right. I've got time. Just near the centre, to be honest. It's a bit of a drive for you, but yeah.
Oh, bloody!
Don't worry about it though. Don't worry about it. I'll probably hitch a lift down or something. I'll be right. As Steve drove me back down into the centre of Dover, the conversation became more casual, turning to his own life and tractors long since passed.
1980, I had an articulated John Deere. Then interest rates got up to 21.25% for high risk. With payments like that, I couldn't pay the rent. My father wanted to help me, but I said no, don't you dare, because the landlords, they'd made some promises which they didn't stick to.
Yeah.
I said no, I'm going to go broke, I'm going to get out. And I've raced motorbikes, I've raced in the Isle of Man, and we went all around Europe. He got a factory ride with Yamaha. We had a 40-foot mobile office, and I said, oh, go on then. So I drove that and then worked in the paddock. And I did that in the end for 10 years.
Wow.
I would never, ever have seen the world like I have. You know, I've been in Japan and everywhere.
Yeah.
So, do I regret losing farm and all that? Yes, I do, because I love it. Would I still be struggling to pay the rent? Probably.
Yeah.
I've had a good life. If I say to people, if I die tomorrow, I'm 74 this year. If I die tomorrow, I've had a good crack.
Nice. Hey, Ross here. If you want to support British farmers, Steve says you should do this.
Try not to shop at Tesco's. Support Lidl and Aldi, because quite honestly they're one of the best supporters of British meat. The other supermarkets couldn't give a damn.
And for farmers, this.
You've got to stop sitting at home and looking at the news and do something. Like you don't want people to sort of agreeing with you but don't help. They need to actively get involved. Not necessarily here, it could be anywhere. They could get their own groups together and get actively involved, but not sit on the fence and let other people do it.
If you want to get along to a farmers' protest too, maybe ride in a tractor and meet a farmer. Don't have to do that though. Or just generally stay abreast of what's going on. I would recommend checking out Fairness for Farmers on Facebook. It's a good hub, you can find out what's going on. On that note, a big thanks to Steve. Thanks for having me in your tractor. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Otherwise, if you want to help out, you should like and share this video. It'll help me out, it'll help the farmers out, it would be much appreciated. I'm going to be doing videos, releasing them a lot more regularly, maybe once every 6 weeks. So watch out for that. Meeting interesting people, investigating politics, seeing weird stuff that's going on, and a few little skits missions like sprinkled in between. So yeah, should be good. See you there. Big love. Bye.